Sorry about that. When I said hooray, my dogs start to bark. They think someone's at the door. So, well, it's February 1st, and here we are, the middle of winter and cold and warm in some places. We're going to get warm in the 70s by Monday or Tuesday and then have storms probably. But today it's cool outside, but look here. Our first daffodil. It never fails. When my daffodils bloom down here, within a few weeks or a few days sometimes, we're going to get really cold again. Like the weatherman told us all last night, we get the most snow in March and April, so just keep us in your thoughts. But this is the day that the Lord has made, and I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. I'm hurting. I'm tired. I am sick. You all understand that, who have these kind of illnesses. They don't ease up. Sometimes they get worse. And right now mine's worse. But okay, it's worse. It doesn't mean I still can't be happy. Doesn't mean I can't still find something to laugh about. It just depends on what that is. And so I wanted to show you today some of the things I am working on. As you know, I am still working on the Granny Square challenge, and I am still working on my Granny Square the pattern I got off of Creative Grandma's channel. Glenda Winkleman makes some beautiful patterns, and this is one of hers that she had in. She had 30 granny squares is what it took to make the Afghan. Well, I've decided to keep it all in one. And what I like about this pattern is it makes it very thick and nice. And if you live where it's cool, like my son does in Chicago, when it gets cold in the winter, it's probably nice to have something a little thick to put on the couch and cover up with and just relax. And so that's going to keep working. But I also wanted to show you something that I'm working on today. This isn't very pretty because it's the first thing I've ever done like this. But here is my little stuffed monkey. I'm doing his hands with crochet. I'm going to crochet this little monkey not a sweater, but a scarf and a hat out of this big yarn, because it'll take just a little yarn to do on his head and a scarf to go around his neck. I'll be using this then to take a yarn needle and use this yarn needle. You see it's large. It's easy to put the yarn in to make his eyes blue. And then I don't know what I want to do. If I want to, I will do him a mouth. I will crochet him a little mouth in there, and we'll see what happens with his nose and if I'm going to put buttons down his front or what. But this is my first try at making something like this. And what I used to make the circular body was this. This is called a knitting machine. This is a kid's knitting machine. It's not super expensive. It makes round panels that are together, and it also makes flat panels depending on how you set the button. And what I like about that is because you can flip the switch and get it to do what you want. You can use fine yarn, but my advice is I've discovered fine yarn slips and disappears sometimes, and you gotta go back with a crochet hook and pull your stitches back up, and that I just can't do. So I've used a little heavier yarn, normal, like a 3 or a 4 weight yarn, and it's been fun. It was great. And so we have a stuffed toy, and we'll see how the kids like it. We'll see how my 3 and 4-year-old likes it. I did because it comes out as a knit, and I used 2 small knitting needles, and I actually stockinette stitched the arms and the legs. I knit them, but I'm doing crochet, like I said, on the ends for the hands and fingers and for the scarf and the hat. Now here's another one I've done on that same knitting machine. and it's in blue. And I haven't decided what I can do with blue yet, but we'll see what's going on. Excuse my dogs from barking. Please, Ellie, come. Ellie, come over here. Anyway, that's what I'm up to right now. I want to encourage you to do something today that you enjoy. I'm going to use a small crochet hook on my monkey. It's a size 3.75 millimeter. I'm going to use the larger hook, the 5.5 millimeter, to do the scarf, or I may use this one right here, which is an 8 millimeter, because it's even larger and it might do better with this thick, bulky yarn. But the most important thing, I think, right now is to tell you that I know it's hard. Today it's been very hard. My husband is working today, and my son called a while ago and said he thought he was having a seizure, and I had to walk down to his house and take care of my granddaughters until he was sure he was getting better and he was okay. Well, walking is very hard for me right now due to the fibromyalgia, but also the RA has really messed my ankles and my hips up, and so it hurts a lot. But I got down there. I had his dog jump on me, but I managed to keep her down and treat her and get her out the door, so she'd leave me alone while I was there. It wasn't easy to go down there and see him sick, but he's okay. He doesn't have to go to the hospital. His seizure was mild. After he got sick and recovered from it, he's feeling better. His little 4-year-old is sitting on his lap and watching cartoons. His 6-year-old is kind of going a little wild, but that's okay. She'll calm down a little bit to help her dad, and that's awesome. When I talk about our autoimmune illnesses, there's something that people don't understand, I think, a lot of times about when you have fibro or when you have RA and things like that. There's something called mind fog. You know how forgetful we get as we get older? We hate to admit it, but you can get up from your seat and go to do something and get there and walk into the kitchen and go, what did I come for? And then it might hit you what you came for, or you might do something else and then go, oh, that's what it was supposed to be about. Well, with RA and fibro and a lot of the autoimmune illnesses, this memory fog causes you not to be able to, as you can see with me, I stop and go a lot. I didn't used to speak this way. I used to be able to speak without any notes, without anything to prompt. I used to preach for 20 minutes and be done and know that everything that I said was okay because I could remember. But now it seems that I can't even remember some days my own name, and it's not dementia. Trust me, this is not dementia. This is Buster Hill. Ellie, get over here. This is part of having an autoimmune disease. And it's frustrating because things I used to know by heart, like scriptures, etc. Ellie, stop. I don't know anymore. And again, I apologize for the dogs. My dogs are my lifeline to the outside, and they're also the most irritating, barking little things I've got. But Ellie's trying to protect me, and so is Buster. And all it is my big dog standing at the door wanting in. Buster, get down. Off. Well, he's not listening either. Anyway, the mind fog is very irritating. It makes you kind of wish you could call it dementia because people understand that. But that's not really what it is, but it's provoking because sometimes I can't remember a phone number that I've known all my days. And sometimes I just don't know if I'm going to be able to remember how to crochet. But because I keep working at it, I keep trying something new. I've learned to make jewelry And I've learned to string beads. I've learned to, excuse me, I am going to have to